Welcome to Euro MBA Flycast, brought to you by Euro MBA, Group 2 All-Stars. This is Marlon Titer. Competing in the international airline industry is a tough call, with so many competitors in the European market, and many players struggling to achieve profit. It is surprising that we still see new airlines entering the market. Flybe, once the new low-cost airline on the block, was profitable in its early years, but is now experiencing a downturn. Our guests today are Amnon Dishabola, an airline expert and strategy professor at Stanford University, and Joey Constantino, a business strategy consultant for the airline industry and author of the book Competitive Strategies in the World of Airline Industry. Their latest article on Flybe's difficulties argues that Flybe must rebalance its portfolio and expand its profitable routes. According to Amnon and Joey, Flybe's current cost-cutting measures are not a solution. If it is to survive, it should address more fundamental issues. They are here to talk about their article. Hi Amnon and Joey, I'm so happy to talk with you each today.
It's great to be on the show.
Likewise, thanks for having us.
I've always thought that Flybe's problem was high fuel costs. You're saying this is not the real issue. What is the real issue?
Flybe is really facing three challenges. 1. Its selection of routes is not optimal. We see a relatively high number of unprofitable routes. 2. When we look at Flybe's financial management, we see a consistent lack of alignment between the company's cost structure and its growth strategy. And finally, 3. Flybe's customer experience is weak when you look at the hyper-competitive airline industry environment, particularly at the low-cost end of it. Margins are small, so if you want to make sure your competitors are not eroding your profits, creating lasting customer intimacy and loyalty is key.
If we start off with the first issue you mentioned, suboptimal route selection, what is going wrong there, and what can Flybe do about it?
3/4 of Flybe's routes are in the UK. The domestic market in the UK is declining, reflected by Flybe's corresponding UK available seat kilometre score of 59% on domestic routes. For profitability, it is essential to achieve high percentiles in seat occupancy. 59% is not a high-performing rate. On the other hand, leisure flights to Portugal and Spain account for only 3% of Flybe's routes, but deliver 13% of the available seat kilometers, so there you see a mismatch. Similarly, in the domestic market, Flybe operates both highly profitable as well as highly unprofitable routes. It recently even lost 2 of its most profitable routes when it gave up slots on Gatwick Airport. This leads to question Flybe's management information system with regards to efficiency, profitability and effectiveness, KPIs used to lead the company and assess its leadership team, as well as the overall rationale behind the decision. The solution here is simple. First, drop unprofitable and unsustainable ones. Second, replace unprofitable domestic routes with profitable international routes with a focus on leisure travel. After all, the UK has the world's 4th largest tourism market. Third, Flybe should defend profitable airport slots in the UK, and establish routes to prime European locations.
That's quite a different story from the cost-cutting approach Flybe is taking now. So on to the second issue you mentioned. You claim Flybe's financial management is not performing well. Flybe must have financial experts. Are you saying they're not up to the job?
One point that is essential to mention is that cost-cutting is not a means of obtaining a sustainable competitive advantage. Our research reveals that there is really something amiss here, and it may well be the driver of Flybe's other issues. The company has a complex ticket pricing structure, high variety in types of airplanes with varying efficiency levels in costs and maintenance. Also, in times of economic downturn, the company is not able to purchase new aircrafts. The result is that it has limited bargaining power and opportunities to acquire favorable discounts. But there is more. We see a lack of forward thinking in liquidity and funding planning, inability to align overhead cost structure with the abundance of resources available in the market, and a lack of negotiation skills in partnerships and acquisitions, which results in further operational losses. So the question is, why is this happening? And this brings me back to answer your question. Unfortunately, Flybe does not have a management team with extensive credible experience in the airline industry.
Now let's say a new CEO would take over Flybe tomorrow. What is the first thing he or she should do?
When we're talking about financials, there are a few steps necessary to shape Flybe's business model into a leaner, smarter and more flexible structure, equipped to enable and fuel growth. To start, it's important that Flybe begin to allocate financial resources to their differentiating capabilities, cut unproductive expenses, maintain good costs, and introduce a focused, tight cost control strategy. Next, a new CEO should implement a 15-minute passenger and baggage unload and load time for all flights. This would increase the overall number of flights flown each day, greatly raising top-line revenue. It would also be advised that Flybe forms a low-cost carrier alliance with other airlines to benefit from three main attributes: 1. A reduction of costs through economies of scale. 2. An increased load factor, which is the industry term for amount of filled seats. And 3. Form open innovative idea flow to improve the overall industry performance for the long term.
Amno also mentioned before that Flybe has difficulties in using customer intimacy to handle the hyper-competition that surrounds it. Is innovation also the key word here?
Absolutely. We have seen that the market deregulation of the European airline industry has led to low barriers to entry within the commercial aviation sector, reflected by approximately 1,300 new entrants over the past 40 years. This resulted in the current market where consumers are not loyal. Pricing is the main driver for consumers in selecting which airline to fly. Also, we all expect a great customer experience even when flying with a low-cost carrier. We see that there is no real differentiating factor for Flybe versus its competitors, other low-cost carriers. Customers do not feel valued, and have relevant complaints with regards to Flybe's current customer experience. In order to influence and entice consumers to become repeat customers, Flybe needs focus on creating and maintaining a great end-to-end customer experience. End-to-end being from the moment they go the website to search for a ticket to arriving at their destination and everything in between. Flybe should introduce a customer survey to gain continuous feedback and suggestions on the services it provides. This will enable the leadership to target specific avenues to improve its customer experience. So yes, innovation and smart application of those ideas are needed to overcome these hurdles. This means, for instance, enhancing the flying experience by reducing passenger unload and load time I mentioned previously. His is a simple tweak with dual impact on profitability and the customer experience. When you look at the gate agents and flight staff, they should be completely retrained on the key role they play in enabling the great Flybe customer experience. This training should be correlated with the staff's performance reviews and incentives based on the customer survey feedback. This will accelerate the needed transformation within the company culture to a forward-thinking, intensely customer-focused culture needed to fuel the profitability of the company. Additionally, Flybe should implement a loyalty program that incentivizes valued customers to become repeat flyers. The loyalty program could be based on reward points that build up to be used, as an example, for free flights, free onboard drinks and food, no flight change fee charges, first bag checked-in for free, one-way metro pass for free, one-day free parking. All this would be based on frequency of flights taken with Flybe, and all to be used at the customer's own individual needs and discretion. The loyalty app could also have a survey functionality for customers to provide continuous feedback for Flybe. All in all, Flybe's current predicament is not a curse, it's an opportunity to change, innovate and transform. Strategies are available to overcome their challenges and distinguish themselves to stand out in the hyper-competitive low-cost carrier market, but their strategic and financial management must be such that there are resources available to fund this differentiation transformation.
Well, Amna and Joey, I have found this conversation very insightful. I think you've just given me all the advice I need to start my own airline company. So, thank you both.
You are welcome, Marlon.
We appreciate your interest.
That were Amnanda Shabola, strategy professor at Stanford University, and Joey Constantina, a business strategy consultant for the airline industry. This program was brought to you by Euro MBA Group 2 All Stars. Thank you for listening.